afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. How are you?
Good. My name is George. Thanks again for fitting me into your schedule to talk
Sure,
to you.
absolutely. Have a seat.
Thank you. Thank you.
So from our
Appreciate
conversation, I understand that you are interested in becoming a social worker,
it. Yes, that is correct.
right? Well, that's good to know.
Thank you. Thank you. So I had a couple of questions that I lined up for you. Basically, what convinced you to become a social worker?
From an early childhood, I grew up in a rough home.
Oh wow.
I didn't have that opportunity to seek the help that I needed. And growing up, I knew that it was wrong. But I also saw the fact that I was always caring for people. I was a health aide, I was a certified nurse assistant, and then I became a New York City police officer.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yes, and thank you. And from there I saw a broad group of events.
I can
That
imagine. You
happened.
see a lot of good in people, a lot of bad in people.
Exactly,
Wow.
but I always valued humanity. I've always been blinded to race, ethnicity, religion, gender, and all these things that make a society. I just like to help and assist people. I've always had that opportunity.
That's very nice. Wow. So let me ask you a question, because I get different feedback in terms of where does one need to become a social worker? Is it a certificate from the state? Is it a degree from college?
Well, academically, it ranges. It could be from a certificate all the way up to a PhD.
Oh wow.
But it also depends on the state. All states do require that you have a license and a bachelor's degree in social work.
Okay.
In order to expand, if you want to expand or specialize in a specific area, there is opportunity into growing into the field and financially as well.
Now you mentioned license. So aside from getting a degree, you have to apply for a license for the state?
Absolutely, you have to take an exam, and the requirements, every state varies a little bit, but it all depends on where you will be locating.
Now I'm a people person, and I guess you have to be a people person.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to be able to get along with people.
The skills, the number one skill that you have to have as a social worker is to pay close attention, to not listen but to hear what people are saying, to revert back to them, to also feel empathy also, and make the person or family that you are giving advice to and these resources to, that they are of value, that you are there for them. It's like a social justice representative.
So I could almost imagine how good of a feeling it is to talk to people, make people feel good. What's rewarding?
Personally, as a reward to me, it's always been the positive, that you come to a point where, it takes sometimes time for a family or an individual. Sometimes it's quickly, sometimes it's not, but my reward is that I accomplished, that the achiever in me, and the learner in me, I'm always learning, and that I'm focused on this individual and this family, and to see that they're at peace mentally, emotionally.
Right. Now I got a question then. I know with the work you do, there's a lot of laws involving privacy. But as a social worker, can you deal with someone as young as a child up until whatever age?
Well, that's where I come in. I'm more of a crisis counselor. Okay. Yes, there are fields that you can go into. You can specialize in that. That would be a master's in social work. From child to elderly, mentally disabled people, families, and it's a very specific type of speciality that you would have to incur when you become a bachelor's as a social worker. And in order for you to specialize, you have to be working as a social worker.
Oh, I see.
To continue. Yes.
Okay. Well, what advice would you give me, someone who's actually looking to pursue the career in the field of social work?
No disrespect, but I'm glad that you're a male. We hardly see that in the social work field. The majority are women. when a man is in this sort of work, to me it's rewarding. To me, it's good to see that society can also see that men are also engaged in this sort of field, that you have the skills and the values and the empathy to help people out.
Well, I think I'm a people person, which is why I want to do it, and I'm looking forward to it. I know you're a very busy person. It wasn't easy getting an appointment with you.
No.
But I appreciate your time. I would love to prick your brain in the future if I can.
Absolutely. Anytime you could leave me a message. Actually, I have right here something that I set up for you that you can take with you.
Oh,
And I have it in chronological order. My card is there, my email. Anytime you can leave me a message. Just give me there's sometimes in the seasons are very busy.
sure.
And you can take this with you and use it to your best knowledge. And I hope that
Thank
you know,
you.
a lot
Thank you
of
very
luck.
much for your
Yes,
time. An appointment. But I'm going to take. I took a lot. I'm going to take a lot with me, so I do appreciate that. I appreciate your time, and I will definitely reach out to you.
Great. Thank
Thanks
you very
again.
much. Thank
you very much. Take care.